Welcome to my Vocabulary Builder Fantastic Words. I integrated this into my first grade classroom after reading comprehension from the ground up by Sharon Taberski. Fantastic Words is actually adapted from Sharon Taberski's Words, Words, Words. This lesson and a continuing lesson will focus on incorporating higher level vocabulary into the classroom, specifically into my first grade classroom. These lessons assume that you are providing rich literature experiences in your read-alouds, in your shared reading, in your guided reading, and providing a classroom full of rich literature for students to choose for independent reading. For all students, building oral language is an important component of learning to read. The National Early Literacy Panel supports oral language as an important part of a balanced literacy program. Emergent literacy theory is built also on a set of beliefs regarding children's early literacy development, and one of the central tenets of this theory is that children's development in the area of listening, speaking, reading, and writing are all interrelated. Building vocabulary is part of oral language, and as with all reading skills, vocabulary is best taught embedded in a rich literature study. This is especially important for those students who come to school with deficits in oral language and vocabulary. It is also important for students who lack print-rich environments. Setting up fantastic words. First, you will select and preview the text that you have chosen for this 9 weeks period that you are going to begin fantastic words. You're going to collect the books you will be choosing for read aloud, guided reading, shared reading, and books that you will put on your shelf and around in baskets for the students to read. Then you will make a list of the higher level vocabulary words from these texts. From that list, you will choose 8 words and write them on brightly colored laminated sentence strips. I laminate them because I reuse them from year to year. I write on them with dry erase marker. These strips can be placed in a pocket chart, and the pocket chart needs to be in the area where you do read aloud or where you come together for mini lessons where the children can easily see and reach them. In your first mini lesson, you're going to introduce fantastic words. You're going to share their meanings, model using the word in context, and then explain to the students that they are going to be listening and looking for the fantastic words whenever they listen, speak, write, or read. Then, if it is noticed, tally marks will be made next to the fantastic word. Teaching with fantastic words. This is so fun. This is where students discover the fantastic words being used. So you are going to bring everyone's attention to the discovery if a student says, "You just said one of our words." Or if they bring you a book and say, "Look, I found one of our fantastic words." Or if someone is sharing their writing and one of the fantastic words is used. Whenever one of the students discovers one of the fantastic words, bring it to the attention of everyone in the room. Have the student read or repeat the sentence with the fantastic word, and ask that student then to go to your pocket chart and make a tally mark next to that fantastic word with a dry erase marker. I also allow students to share the discovery of fantastic words from outside the classroom, from their own writing in their journals, to other students sharing any books that they read in the classroom or out of the classroom. And I also allow them to bring notice to the discovery of these words used in their conversation. This, however, you have to be careful with. I carefully explain what it means to use the word in context so that it makes sense. I do want to encourage them to use these words in their writing, in their own speaking. However, sometimes they just want to use the word to make a tally mark. So they're just saying, they're having a discussion about the word and using the word. So you have to explain very clearly that's not what you're looking for, that we will be talking about the words, but the tally marks are for when we actually use the words in context. So as the use of the fantastic words grow in your classroom, you are going to have decided how many tally marks will show that the class has mastery of that word, or have the class vote on when they believe a word is mastered. However you decide to do it, you will move that mastered word or words to a point of reference in another place in the room. Perhaps you have a word wall or another board where you place words that you want to have available for use in journal writing. Then you would select a new fantastic word from the list that you had made of the books that you were going to be studying over that 9-week period. You will be amazed how quickly some of these words will be mastered, and it will be a very exciting time. I was completely blown away by how often I saw it in their journal writing, how often they recognized it in the speaking of people around them, and then they began to use it. It's very exciting. Sources and references for fantastic words. Kudos to Sharon Taberski in her book Comprehension from the Ground Up, not only for helping me to take words and transform it a tiny bit into fantastic words for use in my classroom, but for the many things in her book that have been a source of mentoring for me. I also base anything I bring into my classroom on the theory that I try to incorporate in my practice. So I used Lenses on Reading, an Introduction to Theories and Models. It's the Tracy and Moreau book, which is excellent and where you can read about emergent literacy theory. And also then we want to use best practices. And a reference for this being a best practice is the National Early Literacy Panel, Developing Early Literacy Report of the National Early Literacy Panel. And there is the link if you want to go and look at that. I thank you and I wish you well. And again, hats off to Sharon Taberski.